Welcome to another edition of the Dental Today podcast. Thank you for stopping by. This is brought to you by labmediatv. My name is Hezekiah Morales, and here we go. Remember to follow us on social media at labmediatv. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Dental Today podcast. We have another gentleman that is working out of Bella Vita. Over 10 years of experience in the dental community, in the dental industry. He is currently a key opinion leader as well as an educator for Dentsply Sirona. We are talking about Mr. Kevin Reck. Kevin, welcome to the show.
Hey, Hezekiah, man, I appreciate you. It's an honor for you to reach out to me and want to include me in this podcast. I greatly appreciate it. You've had some inspirational people on as well already. You know, Bart, Edgar Munoz, a couple other people that I really love, man. They're good people. So I'm honored, man. Thank you so much for reaching out and including me in this journey. So I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for coming on the show. We definitely appreciate anyone that is willing to share a little bit of their background, a little bit of their story, the story behind the art, the story behind the craft. I do believe that it's, everyone is so rushed and so many things are going on at the same time, especially in trade shows, that it's a little difficult to touch base with everybody and know the story behind the inspiration and understand the soul behind the name, right? So I appreciate you coming on board, and it's interesting how I knew of you. I was speaking with Bart, as you mentioned. Bart was on the show. I love Bart, Mr. Bart Cothran. He's also another educator, another key opinion leader. Phenomenal individual, very inspirational, amazing at his craft. I actually met him 2017, and recently we were chatting, and a few names were brought up to the table, and your name came up, and we decided to reach out to you, and we actually scheduled before for another date, but you were recently teaching for Sirona. So give me a little bit of what you were doing with Sirona.
So we do a 3-day course. This is our second course we've done. First day is basically doing training regarding digital dentures, in-lab software. We split it up between my boss, Bill Atkinson, and myself, and Jesus Romero as well. He's the marketing man of Bella Vita. So we do our thing. I mean, we share each part, each component that, we do. And it's a blessing and an honor. We have a great team. It's awesome. We train. That's one of the most, I can't believe that where I am right now when it comes to training, because that is where I feel I get the most passion. I'm a passionate individual. That's basically what got me into this business, being artistic and stuff like that. But being able to share anything I can to another individual, it's something different. It brings when these people you've never met before, they come to the lab, or if it's out when I'm doing a presentation, it's just, there's something about it. It pulls out something from your soul. It's weird, it basically, you're able to share so much stuff that you've learned, that the return once they leave, I love when they leave, the little feedback that they say, oh man, this was so great. Thank you so much. Those are the things that, you get out. Normal technicians, unless you have a lot of good dentists, we have so many amazing dentists that actually contact us and say, man, great job. Other dental labs that I've worked at, you don't get a lot of feedback from what you put into your craft. So that's where the teaching, I think, really, you get that one-to-one relationship, and you can tell that they actually learned something and enjoyed it. So normal technicians sit in their bench, their crowded area, covering what they do, hiding everything that they don't share. But I think we have a new age right now We do, man. We have a new age of the industry's going somewhere completely different. And I don't know if it's just because I got a part of the digital aspect, because before when I wasn't part of the digital aspect, I didn't see this. I don't know if that was just a misfortune or whatnot, but yeah, since I started doing the digital stuff, there's a lot more sharing.
You know, it's interesting that you bring that up, because a couple of weeks ago we were speaking with Effet Lena from Philly, and she was mentioning the same something very, very similar to what you're saying in terms of, you know, people not wanting to share back in the day. So I think it's something that has started shifting. I also spoke with Elvin Santos from Dominican Republic, and awesome guy, by the way. Do you know Elvin?
That was a good video. Mm-hmm.
What
was that?
Have you met Elvin?
No, I have not.
You've got to meet Elvin. This guy is amazing. When we'll meet, we'll touch base whenever he's down here in Florida or something. We'll figure it out. But so basically, what he was sharing with me was one of the, we can call it catalysts for his great success and his exponential growth was social media. Because as you mentioned before, a lot of people did not want to share. And then when social media came along, people just started sharing left and right. And you could compare your work to your next, to your colleague, half a world away. And you could trade on ideas and concepts and experiences and all of these things, which consequently elevate everyone's experience. And it's very interesting for you to experience that now. But you weren't always an educator, and you've been in the industry for about 10 years.
Nope.
So how did this whole journey begin with you getting into the dental laboratory side of this dental industry?
So out of high school, I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do. I went to a community college. Wasn't really sure where I was at. I just felt like I was continuing to take more high school classes. I just wasn't sure. So I was doing dead-end jobs that weren't getting me anywhere. My mom was a dental hygienist. I've always been in dental offices growing up. So that was something that, I was intrigued about for sure. The whole aspect of, patient health and stuff like that. So I went to a community school where they offered a technical school, where they offer dental lab technology. And I went in, did a little interview type thing to see if this was something I wanted to pursue. And it started out with, they showed me a wax, just a square cube, just of wax, nothing. There was literally nothing. And they said, well, what we do to start out is you carve a tooth from this. And I was like, what? That's what? That's the introduction. And me being an artistic person, I've always drawn, I've always done stuff like that. I didn't know that was going to be the starting point. I figured it'd have to be something else, but that was literally the starting point. Actually, I take that back. Disinfection control and protocols like that were first to make sure that, but the artistic part was the first artistic spot of it. And yeah, it was just something that was like, oh, this is great. Just from the first carving a tooth, you don't realize teeth until you look at it up to that level. You know what I mean? And most people don't know about this profession as well.
True.
So yeah, it was just something I was like, oh, this is great. And then it progressed from there. I mean, it was just, I don't know, man. It was something that I'm blessed. I got real lucky to fall into this because it is random. I would say most technicians probably have learned it from a family member or something along those lines. I think there's only 12 dental lab schools still available in the United States. So that can show you how much the schooling aspect is diminishing. Hopefully that changes here in the near future. But yeah, the dental lab schools have been closed. they've just been constantly closing. So I'm not sure. It's definitely not people are losing teeth. That's not why they're closing. But yeah.
And it's very interesting that you bring that up. And how about we just shift it a little bit into this this aspect here, and I want to hear your take on this. So I was speaking with Eric Niederhauser, and he obviously he's out from Europe, and he was sharing that his experience as a dental technician is a European dental experience, which is completely different than the American
different
experience. And so he had to go to school 5 years, and not only did he have to go to school, but they had a weeding out of people that were not apt, or let's just say apt, not necessarily capable, but they weren't apt for this profession. And if you still remained, then you could pursue it. And then he mentions that he came here to the United States, and he realized that people off of the street were coming into dental laboratories and were being trained to do certain things, in certain simple things, and they started growing from there. And do you believe one of the reasons for that is because of the diminishing of dental schools?
Ooh, that's a tough question. No, I just think the training over there is different. Same thing with China, Japan. There's different types. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't really have a positive answer on that. I'm not sure with that one. I just think there's a need for it. And then at the same time, I think there's a lower pay rate included in what we do, unfortunately. Not everybody, but for a majority of lab technicians, it's a low paid. I mean, it's a low paid job. We're considered unskilled labor in the United States, or at least I know in Florida and North Carolina, it's considered unskilled labor, like basically the same as a McDonald's employee, which sucks because when you look at it, I change people's lives. Every day I'm changing someone's life. So when it comes down to that, I don't think it should be labeled as an unskilled labor. But maybe it is just due to the fact of, like you said, all the other extra schooling and stuff like that other countries have. But yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say it's probably because of the schools.
Interesting. I was speaking with Mr. Bart Cawthron, and we were talking about how people or dental technicians are not encouraged to be part of these programs, or not programs, but groups like the Florida Dental Lab Association, all that. And it's possibly because of this, the fees and everything, and a lot of technicians, as you're mentioning, are not necessarily considered as skilled labor. And maybe it has to do with that. I think we're going to have to get deeper into this just so that I can understand it as well. And obviously, you've been in the industry for 10 years, and there's probably some information that's possibly missing that could benefit the industry at some point. But you're mentioning or you shared your desire that it would improve, but I do believe that it has improved, just on a different level. Rather than people going to a school or a program for 5 years, they can take a few courses, whether it's online or going to courses as Dents by Sirona has, and you can pick up a boatload of information, years of experience that you don't have to live through, but you can live them through someone else's. And I believe, like you mentioned, the background, the feedback of the people that assist is huge.
Yeah.
And I believe that there makes a big difference. What impact have you seen in the work of people that have come to your types of lectures in the short term? Let's just talk about the short term.
Well, mainly you see, so a lot of the things I do or I try to do is hands-on. So when you're doing something hands-on and you show them, so basically, let's say for digital dentures example, I will show them how I do a certain task. All the hard work that I put in, all the lessons that I learned, and mistakes, mainly mistakes. So when you come to classes like this in continuing education, you're learning from teachers that have evaluated all their errors. Like, I spent a lot of time screwing things up to be able to easily show you the key fine points of something to make it easier for you, so you don't have to deal with all the screw ups. And being able to do the hands-on and watching them work through it. So let's say half an arch, I'll let them do half an arch and then let them come back and do the other half. And with that being said, the first half of the arch that they set, maybe it might be a little messy. Maybe there's some errors. And this can be with any type of situation. This is the easiest way to lay it out. So then we come back and do the other half. The other half's going to look 10 times better because we'll critique. We'll after it's cured, I will say, here, these are the little minor things that happen. Then when they do the other side, it's like, okay. And then so they're instantly learning in that short period, where it took me, while I was doing it, quite a lot of screw ups.
Right. So would we be safe in saying that these courses that are offered are a shortcut to success in the lab? For
sure, yeah. I had to think about that for a second.
And without the bad connotations of shortcuts. I mean, by no means are we saying that hard work is not part of the equation, but I'm saying, as you're sharing right now, it is taking the variable of time of that learning curve away from the person that is sitting there, because they are experiencing the workflow without all those variables.
Yeah, of course. Bart has a course coming up next month too. Yes. I'm gonna take that for sure. It's in North Carolina.
Yes,
at the Dentsply Sirona Academy. I forget the date.
I believe it's the beginning of October.
Okay.
Wait. No, he has something else going on the beginning of October. You know what? He mentioned a couple of dates, because we were on a conversation mentioning something that we wanted to do here in Florida as well. But yeah, you're right. It is in North Carolina. I think he has something going on in the beginning of October and possibly at the middle of September. So right now I'm a little cloudy.
Yeah, but those are the types of things, like the courses that people like him teach. They're teaching all of the things that he had to learn through mistakes and errors. So it is technically a shortcut. It's a way of getting to the product or whatever it might be, and getting it from somebody that knows it the most. I think that's, if you get the knowledge from someone that's had their hands on it from the beginning, you're going to gain the most from that product and for your lab. And the other thing when it comes to teaching is, I show them, and I'm just going to, in regards to Dentsply Sirona software, the in-lab software, there's so many applications that are free, but so many lab technicians don't use them because they don't know how to use them.
Whoa, there you go.
So, and that's what really changed with these courses. Like the last people that were at our course, there was so many things that they could offer to their lab for free that they're not utilizing. And it just goes to training. If you need the training of that. Believe it or not, when I got it, I was being just a conventional technician at another lab before Bella Vita, and I was just sick of doing all the hands-on. There's just too much hands-on labor. I know there's a group of hands-on people. I believe your hands should be, there's different aesthetic values, there's different things, but I was sick of waxing copings, doing a lot of things that I knew a mill could do. Why not design a coping in 10 seconds and mill it? If you do want to do conventional, not fully monolithic restorations, there's reasons why that stuff is available. And I just convinced my old boss. I had no knowledge of it. I was just like, we have to change, because if you're not changing with time, that you're gonna be dead in the water. You can't do this hands-on thing forever. There are people that have that clientele. And I praise them for that. They built that off their name, you know. Sorry, I'm trying to keep my cat down. But yeah, so if you're not changing with time, you're going to be dead in the water. So yeah, we got the system, and I went, Jay Black, Bart's employer, over at Winter Springs, where Bart works at. He was my trainer, one of the best trainers for Dental Corona. And I was fortunate just to be in Florida. That's how he was the closest one to my lab. So, and that's where the digital aspect started. And I couldn't be more thrilled to where I'm at right now. In a short time, and besides Bart's training, or Jay's training, I literally spent 15 hours a day just working and then learning the system, and it was just hard work, like, to get to learn it, like, and there's a lot of people with the system that don't, and that's where I'm getting to, that don't go into the other programs that's free, you know, the framework software, the Splint software. Just, I don't know. I had to work hard and late to do it, and so being able to go through all those hard hours and then be able to, you know, reap the benefits of that by training people and showing them, you know, the things, and then telling them. That's the other thing. At the courses, it's not only about the hands-on. I think they gain a lot of added value from what I say and what I know about certain things. It's not always just, and it can be even financial too. And I tell them, like, hey, why not offer this to your lab? Or here's a product. Why don't you use this product? This product's amazing. This is what you should do. And Dawn from GC, you know, they come to our courses, GC Gradia, and they come and we do composite. We put composite on dentures going right now in this community. People sharing, caring. It's a game changer. And I think it's due to, for sure, social media. But once I got to this digital aspect, I don't know what it was, but things just hit a 360, and I'm blessed to be a part of this.
I'm glad to hear that, and it just makes me think. Now that you're mentioning, you know, that you felt a shift in the digital, could it be that because people were so hungry to learn and so eager to understand, that maybe it's even come to change certain people's mindsets regarding the lab approach?
Of course, I think it becomes more fun. You know, when you're cutting down on hours, you're able to leave maybe at 6 o'clock instead of, you know, working until 10 at night because you're doing everything by hand. It gives you more to learn. It gives you more time to be yourself, express yourself. And yeah, it changes your mindset on the industry. And as a technician as a whole, you know, I think there's a lot of miserable technicians in the world, you know, and if you don't make it to entertain if what you do isn't fun, you're just struggling day by day. And I'm glad I got to this. And then that, you know, sharing my story as well with people that come to courses, you know, maybe that inspires them as well. Anything, it's all an inspirational thing at this point for me. Anything that I can give, man. I love what I do. So.
And we receive so much more when we give.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fulfillment, right? I definitely find that the fulfillment in sharing is bigger than any other return.
It is the best return you can have in life, I think.
That's absolutely amazing. You do have something coming up in the near future here in Florida, West Palm Beach. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, it'll be October 18th. I'll be at the Zon Expo, doing a a course on Lucitone and the future of Lucitone. Lucitone's a dentsply product. Where it's going right now is futuristic. I hope everyone can make it to it. We're going into game-changing things right now in this industry, and that's another thing. Man, to be a part of the evolution, like what we're doing with printing, what we're doing with all the software that we can use. Man, I remember normal monolithic zirconia looked like crap. Now we have something that looks literally like someone stacked porcelain on it. You have to have certain things. Stacking porcelain is a crucial thing to have. That's why I'm going to take parts course. Micro layering. So it went from stacking big cases to now micro layering, basically, where you're doing a minimal cutback. But what you're achieving is high-end aesthetics and saving time. And I think that's where, and I know I really love the people that can just stack everything. But that's not for everybody. Everyone can't make that profit. So learning things that are going to be high-end aesthetics and saving you time so you can go home to your family or you can do whatever. I think that's more crucial than, sleeping at the lab.
Very interesting, because this is the second time you've said that. So
yeah.
I am taking from this that one of the greatest benefits of this for you has been the time with your family, the time given back.
Yeah, the time given back. I mean, I don't have any kids. It gives me time, unfortunately, hopefully soon. Got to meet the right woman first. But it gives you time to enjoy life. Enjoy whatever you do. If you're not enjoying life, you're basically struggling, like I said. So, and I think these equipments that we have and these devices and the materials and, the evolution of where we're at now is in the dental technician world, having training people that you can go to get these things and at a very reasonable price. Like Bart's is, I want to say it's $150 for 2 days to come and learn from him. I mean, it's a game changer, and I'm glad that I'm not around that circle of don't look at what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Sharing is caring.
And little by little, that concept is dying out. I mean, it has to.
Yep.
With social media and the evolution of information, the information age that we're in today, it's, whatever it is that you think you're holding on to is, bro, it's been long discovered and long shared over and over and over and over again.
Right.
But with all the things that you've been sharing now, which I take are pointers for dental technicians and for dental labs that possibly aren't coming out to these events, they can find so much value added and so many benefits, even beyond just the knowledge, but even relationships and the fulfillment of having somebody there in your corner that's across the country that you can just send a message to and say, hey, listen, this is what I came up with. This is the challenge that I came up with. What are your thoughts? I think that's priceless. But let's just say a dental technician is still, or a dental lab is still not convinced why they should go out to these events and invest their resources in sending their technicians to these events that are very, very affordable when it comes to the value added that you're getting back from them. What are some of the things that you would tell them today?
In regards to why they should attend them?
Why they should be part of this, aside from all the other things that you've said now, maybe something that you haven't touched on now.
So, like when I spoke at the LMT day in Chicago, I had 2 speeches, and I give out my business card to anyone that comes up to me, like my personal phone number, my email address, to give out a lot of that, and you get a lot of emails, but that's what I like to do. I don't think a lot of people will do that. I'm not going to just walk around and give everyone that's not going to work. But the people that come to you after your lecture, And those are the people that that were really listening and were intrigued. You can fill a whole room, and it's all about the people that stay after that speech and come up to you and then say, well, can you refresh or rephrase what you meant in this part? Can you go a little deeper? And I'll do it. I'll stay there until they kick me out of the room, because there's always someone else. There's always someone else that's coming up next. So they're like, all right, and then we'll walk outside, and I can sit there for an hour just talking. And then that gets into, like what I said, you meet friends. You have friends. Like, it's a community. It's not like, all right. It's a community if you make it a community. How about that? A lot of technicians hide. There's something about it, and I don't know what it is. If you just open up and ask questions, you just become friends, and it's beautiful. And I might have been in that point at one point, because maybe I wasn't happy. Maybe that's what it was, So being happy as a technician gets you so much further. It gets you to going to these courses, because you want to be that person, I think. So that's my personal opinion on it. But yeah, that's what I feel.
Yeah, that's powerful. I mean, there's a friend of mine that I've known for 3 or 4 years. Yeah, 3 or 4 years now, and he's a dental technician. Excellent work, but he doesn't go to any of these shows. He doesn't go. I've got a few of them actually. That they don't go to any of these shows. They don't go to any of these events. And I believe that they're missing out. I mean, they are connected on Facebook. 2 of them are connected on Facebook. So at the very least, they do have that connection with people that are in the community. But I believe it's such a different dynamic when you're actually, for example, Lab Day. When you're in Lab Day Chicago, and you get to share with somebody in an atmosphere where everybody is so open and so available and so willing to share their information, their story, their experiences. And I think it's amazing. And I think you're doing a great thing there, Kevin. I admire all the dental professionals that are out there, not only doing their work, but also sharing with the dental professionals, whether they're dentists or dental lab technicians, their experiences, their knowledge, those tips and tricks that took them hours, days, weeks, months, years,
long nights,
finally figure it out, right?
Yeah,
and I think it's such a beautiful thing. I am looking forward to possibly seeing you here in West Palm Beach. So give us that date again, October
18th.
October
it's 18th and 19th. I'll be speaking on the 18th.
You'll be speaking on the 18th, and that's going to be the Zon Expo, correct?
Yes, sir. The Zon Expo in West Palm.
And I believe Edgar Munoz is also going to be here. We were chatting a little bit, and he mentioned something.
Yeah, Edgar's gonna be there as well. So I'm trying to get there early so we can spend some time before the dental part. But I'm not sure if I'll be able to get there early. So.
For sure. Well, get together with him, because him and I we're gonna be doing some fun stuff on Saturday. So get together with him, schedule, so we can figure something out. But it's been a pleasure having you with us, Kevin. Please let us know, where can we find you on Instagram, Facebook? What's your tag? What's your name on there?
No Instagram. But you can.
Not yet.
I know. I don't know why. Everyone gets on me for this, and I'm such a digital person and photo guy. But I don't know. Maybe I should do it today. How about that?
You're doing it today after beat. You, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here on the show right after. And
then I'll let Lab Media TV put it down in on the Facebook page so you guys can follow me. How about that? We'll do that. But yeah, Kevin Reck, dental technician on Facebook, and Hezekiah, has been an honor once again. It's a blessing for you to reach out, man. And you're doing a good thing right now, and you're picking, I think, the right people that I've seen so far. So I appreciate you for having me on here, man.
No, we appreciate your support. It's something that more than anything, I like to hear the people, your story. the person's soul behind the name and the art and all this. So I appreciate you making the time. It's been a pleasure and honor having you on, and all the other dental professionals that have been and will be. It's such a pleasure having such special people as yourself on here. I admire each and every one of you, all of the gifts and the talents that you are willing to share with the world. It's such an honor having you here on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Kevin Reck. Make sure you follow him on Facebook, also on Instagram. After a couple of hours, we're going to be sharing information on Facebook. You heard it here. We're committing him here in front of all you folks. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your support. I ask you to share it on your Instagram page, on your Facebook page, and let's grow the community. We will see you next time.